We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get sushi after Monday Night Raw?
Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, a show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout, as after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage, and enjoy the show.
What's going on, everyone? It is your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with another installment of the Wrestling Republic daily broadcast, episode 1067. We're chalking up to 2000. Y'all be there with us, man. We're gonna get there. I'm excited, man. We got a fun Wednesday news show. We're gonna be talking about Mark Henry and his comments towards Javon Evans, Seth Rollins' very, very rough criticism towards WWE Unreal, Vince McMahon's crazy idea that he had, and also we'll get some Mount Rushmores for the most polarizing topic of the week, the under 30. But I can't do this without a panel, and I got someone who's above 30, just like myself, my dog, Clark Taylor. What's going on, bro?
Bro, I'm fired up to be here. I definitely cannot make this Mount Rushmore list myself. I mean, I'm going to make a list, but I can't put myself on the list. That's the most difficult part of this. I'm so fired up to be here. I love this. And it's not even opposite day. I love being on this end of the microphone here. We're going to have a really, really good time today. It's a news day. There's all kinds of great things to cover. It's Thanksgiving Eve, as my mom just said in the comments. I will point that out. Yes. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. Happy early Thanksgiving to everybody. And stoked to be here as always, Shotty. Good to see you.
For sure, man. It's always a pleasure to see you too, bro. Last but not least, we got my dog who would possibly make it under the under 30 list, but he can't because he's wearing that disgusting sweater. He did it because I'm on the panel today. He wanted to go ahead and brag that victory. I'm going to let him do so. My dog, Dez, how you doing?
Feeling good. The vibes are immaculate. Sunday was a glorious day. It started off rough, but it ended off very strong. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, though, guys. We have a fun panel. We got a lot of topics to talk about. Like I said, the ESPN Mount Rushmore under 30. A lot of controversy, but I guarantee you that we got the best list. So let's get into it.
Yes. And we are definitely going to potentially use people from that list. There's a lot of other people that may not be on the list. I can't tell you that, but we'll get that to when we get to that topic. But let's get to the first topic because it does have to do a little bit with age, man. And it has to do with the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Y'all know him, WWE Hall of Famer, but also a very, very polarizing media figure. Respect to him. He's on the Busted Open panel, and he spoke with the good people at TMZ Inside the Ring. And they talked about Javon Evans, and they talked about Javon Evans's potential in the wrestling industry and the longevity. And he had a pretty alarming quote that got people talking. I will quote, he said, if he is 20 or 21 years old with the talent and the way he understands the business, he's going to slow down in about 12 years. And then in about 15 years, he'll be in his championship area. If he's blessed to have 20 more years, there is no rush. So let me preface this first because the initial headline got people going crazy. 15 years and then he'll be in the championship area. Look, that's not him saying he's got to wait 15 years to become world champion. That is saying, as young as he is, there's not a rush to go ahead and throw him into the fire. There's time for him to develop as a competitor, as in psychology, as in maturation, as in your body. That's just the ebbs and flows of professional wrestling. And to me, when I heard the quote, and I read it, but I also watched the video clip, it's more of a sign of compliment to Javon Evans. Basically saying that yo, you're so good right now. Imagine what you're going to be at this age. And it's been an ongoing topic that we've talked about in several forums, comments, is should he have to wait that long? Are we having an age problem in professional wrestling? Are we pushing the old guys per se? Although when y'all say 30, I feel a type of way because I don't consider myself old. I'm a spring chicken up in here.
Yeah.
But is that kind of a area of concern? I want to ask you guys, obviously, what do y'all think first about the quote from Mark Henry, the 15 years, and then also, do you think that we need to kind of push these younger guys into the main title picture, or is there a calculated way? I'm gonna start with you, Mr. NXT off the air, because you covered Javon Evans extensively. What are your thoughts, Clark?
So my first reaction when I heard him say it was Mark Henry is one of the most calculated people on air that I've seen when it comes to Busted Open Radio and all of the programs he's on. And he's also been a mentor to a lot of people in the wrestling business. I think part of the reason that he didn't put a really short timeline on this, part of the reason he gave a longer figure of 15 years number is to sort of take the pressure off. Because if a guy whose voice in the industry like Mark Henry says something, it carries serious weight. And I don't mean that like pun intended. He is the world's strongest man and he's a gigantic human being, but his voice carries weight as a mentor when it comes to this type of a situation. And so I don't think he meant it negatively about Javon Evans. I do think the age conversation has been something that's interesting. I don't want to say just in the IWC, but even on our very own program, we've discussed it a bazillion times, right? Like when's too old, when's too young. And it's so funny because I think tons of people, including myself, can tell you they've been told they were too young to accomplish certain things in certain parts of their life. And now they've been told that they were too old to do so as well. So I think that one is so subjective. Javon Evans is going to win the title when the time is right. And I believe he will because he's got all the potential in the world. No one has a higher ceiling. I would not be stunned if he does things earlier than other talents of his caliber. And I don't think Mark Henry would either. And I don't think that's what he was trying to say. I will say in his defense, but in my eyes, the age thing with Javon is obviously not a problem because of his youth, but it won't be something where we have to sit back and be patient and watch him wallow for 15 years. And I don't think that's what Mark was trying to say, to be honest.
And I agree 100% with you. I think you and me are seeing eye to eye on this topic. I think also, look, man, I know it's a polarizing statement, but we also got to pay, like, to your point, Mark Henry is a hell of a scout. The guy is a big reason we have stars like Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, a ton of other dudes in the industry in AEW on the roster. And like, he's got an eye and he's got a knack of it. And the idea of when you're ready is such a nuanced conversation to have because there isn't a set time for it. You know, like we were talking about Triple H made a quote this past week talking about the future of WWE, and a lot of people had issues with Bronson Reed's name being there. Well, he's 37 years old. Well, he's also in the prime of his career. Well, he's also kind of, in a more landscape to the main roster now than he was a few years ago. He was in NXT a few years ago. He was in New Japan a few years ago. People didn't know him to that level. Now they know him. He's presented. Go ahead.
We don't even talk about like CM Punk took his prime off.
Yep.
He took the 7 years that we're speaking about in this quote off. And nobody's out here critical of he's too old to carry the world title.
Yep.
It's
true.
funky.
I mean, someone like LA Knight, man, like the dude, like, how are we gonna like? Also, the other thing too, who the hell are we to tell these people they're too old? These guys and girls are in the most tip top like shape, physique, health in their lives. Asuka is in her 40s. and Oscar is one of the best wrestlers on that entire roster.
I mean,
And I don't see Oscar retiring anytime soon. So it's not like sports. You know what I'm saying? There's not rookie draft classes where you got to get them in the fold. You don't have a rookie QB. You need to play week 1. So I do want to read some comments because y'all are going crazy in here. We got the homie Corey Hinkle 6136. He says Henry is off his rocker. WWE's biggest issue over the years has been not reading the room and pushing someone when they're hot, regardless of age. That has nothing to do with age.
Yeah. Shout out Corey, man. Thank you for tuning in always, man. Corey's my homie, but Corey.
Yeah, salute to you being Clark's homie. And there's no disrespect. I'm just look, man. I see it in a different manner. We also got the homie Fernando Zayas. Javon is a much better wrestler than Mark Henry was as a young prospect. Why do we need to do that?
Ooh, I don't even agree with that. Actually, either totally different
why do we
Fernando? Yeah.
Why do we need to disrespect someone who's a Hall of Famer just because we don't agree with their take?
Yeah,
you know, we do that in sports. It's the Cam Newton conversation, right? Everyone was mad, and I don't agree with Cam Newton, but we're going to diminish what Cam does as a talent. Come on.
The way Mark Henry came into the business, the way he was booked, I mean, don't get me wrong. Absolutely much love, Fernando, no doubt. Longtime friend of the show. But the way Mark Henry came into the business was so different than the way that Javon has. Javon's playing Javon Evans right now. Mark Henry, World's Strongest Man, was the closest thing to his real life personality. And then he got role after role that didn't make any sense until you saw House of Pain. You didn't even really understand who Mark was. And if you understand what he was able to do as a strongman during that time as well to really prove himself too, Mark Henry is an absolute trailblazer in this industry. There's no debate about that.
Yeah, but Des, I know you are very excited as you are the youthful guy in our panel. I want to ask you the same thing, man. What are your thoughts on this take, and what do you think about the potential? Like, when do you think would be a right avenue of time to put Javon Evans as a world heavyweight champion?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Honestly, man, like when I look at Javon Evans, there's a lot of wrestlers you grew up with, but most of the wrestlers I grew up with, like Cena or in Punk, they're already like near 30, 40 years old. You know what I mean? Javon, he's 22 years old. So seeing someone like Javon Evans accomplish what he's accomplished at this age, you just can't help but be proud of him, right? There was a video of him and Roman Reigns talking backstage. John Cena said he was very high of him. During a live event, Sheamus also said he's very high of him. Speaking of someone like being his age, the thing about being ready is when you feel like you're ready. Like, I understand where it's kind of like, oh, we can give this guy like the ball and he can run with it, and that's fine. But the way I view it, where it's kind of like, I'm okay being at this position because you can get better and better and better, right? Listening to advice from different veterans like Cena, like Punk, like HBK, right? Anybody you can listen to, you're like a sponge. You want to soak up all that knowledge and learn as much as you can. And plus, being Javon Evans, getting to work with someone like Gunther, right? Main event talent, like, the way you become main event talent is you work with main event talent, right? The way you learn about TV is you work with people who talk TV, and you get to see how they produce a show, and you can see how they produce the matches, and you can see basically like different styles of wrestling. So I understand why people kind of feel like, oh, we want to keep pushing the old guys, where it's like, if we want to push Javon Evans, we can. But Henry, he's not wrong in that sense. Like you guys said, he's a great scout. When he sees talent, he sees a lot of talent in Javon Evans, and he sees the future of him like most of us do, because look what the guy's accomplished, right? He's been to TNA. He's been to AAA. He's been to Monday Night Raw. He's been to Friday Night SmackDown. He's on PLEs. Like the kid's done everything, and he's only 22 years old. The sky is the limit for him, and it's going to be awesome to see what else he can accomplish. So it's more so of like when Javon feels he's ready, he can go for it. But if you can obtain all the knowledge you can only get better.
No doubt, man. And I think that's a great way to put it. I want to read this comment because
go for it.
Who cannot forget? Why
we gotta bring this up, dude?
There's a child out there that is a hand that is probably as big as Shaq's hand at this point. How they grow, you know. So
I think it's the
I hope
second
Mark
most
is a good father to that hand.
second
what
most famous hand besides Edward Scissorhands, right?
Yeah,
Like
man.
I
And also
easily.
salute to Mark Henry's son. I believe is a NIL talent on the WWE too.
I
Done.
believe so, yeah. Which is awesome.
So hopefully we get to see him eventually get to the NXT world. That would be dope to see. But we gotta talk about something else now, man, because there is something that was talked about, and this topic is a little near dear to me and Clark's heart because we had the absolute honor to interview the producer for WWE Unreal,
And director.
and it was an amazing episode. If y'all haven't watched it, go ahead and please watch it. But we gotta talk about it in a little bit more context on a negative manner because Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch were on the Burt Kreischer's Something's Burning podcast, and Seth was asked about Unreal, and he didn't have as positive of a light on it. He was asked, and he said, "Yeah, but I hate it. I do hate it. I don't hate all of it. There's some parts of it I think are fascinating and interesting." And he continued, "There's some things that in our business, everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows it's predetermined and planned. But the gray area, that's the one little question. Like, maybe maybe these two really don't like each other. There's something there. What could happen? The unpredictability it creates. It's magic. Where magic happens in our business is that little seed of doubt. And when you start to chip away from it, it becomes a bit tricky." Clark, you and I had this conversation in detail
With Chris Weaver.
Yes, with Mr. Chris Weaver. And this was something that I brought up because I thought it was a bit of a concern. I want to know what your take is on this because this is coming from somebody who is in the industry, part of WWE, but this is also coming from somebody that is, at the top of the game. So this is like similar of a Pat Mahomes was making some criticism about the operations on the Chiefs. What are your thoughts on Seth's quote?
I love it. To be completely honest, I would expect nothing less from Seth Rollins. He toes the line on in and out of kayfabe all the time, and I enjoy that because that's also basically what he expressed in his exact quote. And I think Chris Weaver, and when we interviewed him, sort of covered that they were aware that there might be some pushback and that people might not like certain things about the way the show is filmed. But I do think it's more protected than people even gave it credit for. They thought just because you showed a writer's room, like we didn't assume there was a writer's room, right? There's still the air of mystery. There's still enough gray area. They didn't have rivals out at dinner hanging out and cheersing after matches at all. That's not what the show was. But I wouldn't expect anything less from Seth Rollins, whether he's in or out of character or somewhere in the middle. Speaking of gray areas. And that's what I felt like personally this might have been, is a gray area in that sense where Seth went into this like, he probably enjoyed some of it. Like he did say, he told a little bit of the truth. And I'm not saying that he was lying when he said that he didn't enjoy the show. Maybe there were a few things on the show that he saw and went, shoot, I wish they didn't reveal that because I would have wanted to do this, that, or the other. And you look at Seth Rollins as a guy that he kayfabed an injury at SummerSlam, right? Everybody and their mother thought he tore his whole knee to shreds, and he didn't. Threw the crutches away. He showed up. He cashed in. He won the world title. And so for Seth Rollins to have said that on the interview, I take it with a grain of salt, and that's no knock. I appreciate both sides of it because also after speaking to Chris Weaver, they protected a lot of that stuff. And we know that, right? So I think both sides make sense. And I have no problem with what Seth said in the least.
Nah, no doubt. And I think that is that's the importance of it too. I think it's the fact that who are we to tell him that he's right or wrong, right? Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. And Unreal is such a I don't know. I find it more intriguing because in a way, I think it caters to those who might just watch a show casually too.
Right.
Like it's one of those
Right.
things where it's like, oh, this is on Netflix, or even who could also gravitate to people that are casual fans or old fans because it shows behind the scenes of like, oh, I remember WWE, and you kind of see how it operates, and it can
You know what?
hopefully lure them back into it.
Not
But
even to cut you off, Shad, but a phenomenon I've seen is, and because we all are here, we podcast all the time, we're on this daily show and everything, and we've all gotten the question, right? Isn't that the fake stuff? And we're like, shut up, stop it,
Yeah.
stop it,
yeah,
right? The amount of people that are aware that I cover professional wrestling and are aware that we do this daily show and all of that, and ask weird questions like the fake thing, that have then watched the show and been like, oh, I get it now. It is fascinating to me. That's a phenomenon that has been like undercovered. I think as far as, because it's not that many, they're not a vocal portion of the fan base. They're new to the product, but even Chris himself, now that he explained that in our interview shot, right?
yeah,
That now that he understands the business, oh wow, he's a huge fan. He doesn't miss Raw and SmackDown anymore. He doesn't miss the PLEs.
yep.
And I think that is something really positive that has come out of this. I think it's better for the non-wrestling fan than it is for the hardcore fan.
Yeah, and then we got a comment from Corey. He said Seth is spot on. We know the business, but the gray area and how well feuds are built to where we're like, damn, do they actually hate each other? That's cinema to me.
What?
And I
Point.
do agree with that. I mean, Des, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, for sure. I gotta say, I think what Unreal is, I understand what Seth is saying, where it's kind of like, we want to make sure you guys see like it's kayfabe and it's real, it's the magic. I feel like I get to the point where it's kind of like I could see a picture of like them backstage or like rehearsing a match, but you sell me a compelling story, like I'll believe they hate each other. That's all it is, because wrestling is storytelling. Wrestling's about creating a moment, has that amazing ending. That's all that's really all it is. So I understand in that regard. The thing with Unreal with me is, we're geeks, right? We love wrestling, right? So when I heard Unreal, it was like, this is so cool because you get to see like how everything operates, but you don't want to get too much to the point where it's like, look, I have so much respect for the business that I don't want to see it in a negative connotation where it's like, I don't care about the backstage drama, right? That's for them, all right? I just care about the element of wrestling, like how you guys come with the stories, right? How do you guys plan all these moments? Because we have such a passion for it. So when it comes to that, like, I understand.
No doubt. And I definitely agree with you. I feel like it's kind of one of those things where there's not a right or wrong answer. So
Right.
we'll have to see how the next season comes up, how they do it. But I thought it was interesting. I love very good interview with Becky and Seth. They talk about a lot in that
Really?
interview. I would highly
Oh, yeah.
recommend
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
to watch it.
I'll probably give it a listen after then.
Yeah. Let's talk about another interview that happened this week, and it was with the lovely future mother to be. Also, congratulations to her, Miss CJ Perry. She also had an interview with the good people at TMZ, and she was talking about a little bit of the mastermind of Vince McMahon and a little bit of what was going on with them. She talked about the promo. Obviously, we know Lana's character in Rusev, but she mentioned he had an idea, and his idea trickled down with the character work of them being Russian. He had goals to eventually have a very controversial figure come out. I'll read the quote. Vince wrote my promos. He was very, especially the Russian stuff. He was absolutely hands-on writing everything. He was using me as a puppet to talk about America because once Trump became president, he sat me and Miro down and was like, okay, no more politics. It's too polarizing and controversial. But he was using me as a puppet, and I was making global news. And Vince thought it was the most hysterical thing. And one clip that he threw out within President Obama working out, and he thought with the 8-pound stuff, and he said, unlike a real man. And then I cut to Vladimir Putin. He wanted Vladimir Putin to potentially come on the WWE TV from that clip. And that is absolutely insane. Like, if you're talking on a geopolitical standpoint, it's insane, but it's very Vince McMahon coded. Woo! It's wild to think. Des, I want to know your thoughts on that, man. What did you think about this character work that he was pushing and his potential end goal? And then we'll talk about it all together.
We laugh about it, but we know it's true, right? There's a lot of stuff we can't say on air that Vince McMahon has written because that's just who he is, right? Vince writes everything for WWE. When I heard of this reminded me exactly of Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter, right? Where Slaughter and Hogan, where Hogan's like, America, right? And it's like the big American guy. And we have Sergeant Slaughter. And it's like, well, we have the global wars with US and Iran. So we're going to have Sergeant Slaughter become an Iraqi sympathizer. Like, why are we using real life world affairs in wrestling, right? Wrestling's supposed to be a place where we have our own storytelling and our own like moments and whatnot. Why are we trying to do it like that, right? If we had Vladimir Putin on WWE television, can you imagine the backlash that WWE would have got? They already got backlash for what's going on with the Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan storyline that almost had a bomb threat because of what was going on. But, well, the bomb threat because of low ticket sales. Like, I don't understand why we're going to run back this whole thing, right? I mean, look, WrestleMania 29, right? They had so many, like, weird things, like, that it's such a tough subject to talk about because you know about all the Vince things, right? So, like, when the whole thing happened with Vince, other people were like, oh, my God, I can't believe he did this. Where, like, wrestling fans are kind of like, yeah, I could see it. Just because, like, that's what he would do. The guy wrestled God. Like, he literally went to a church and, like, Vince is one of a kind, man. That's all I gotta say. Vince is one of a kind. This does not shock me in the least, but I am very happy they did not go through with this because this is a really dumb idea.
Oof. You're talking about a man post 9/11 had a character play a
That too.
Terrorist, had real life terrorists attack the Undertaker.
An Italian man.
An Italian man at that, playing an Arab American man.
Exactly. Like, why?
I mean,
Man.
this is ridiculous. It's
Go
a
ahead,
really,
Mark. I want to get your thoughts on it too.
it's a CJ. It's a really good time to tell the story. I actually appreciate that she did because it's just ridiculous that it was an idea at the time. I mean, we finally have our first Russian babyface in wrestling history. Like, that's been a thing since the 80s, and most of the Russian heels were not actually Russian. Ask Rusev if he's from Russia.
Bulgarian.
Right.
It's
Exactly. And so we've got a Russian babyface in Ilya Dragunov finally in like a great position. It's a crazy thing that happened. It's another just Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon. Well, Vince McMahon. There's no other way to, and it's like, it's the, if I saw some comments about like not believing it, and I'm like, it's the most believable Vince McMahon story that's been told.
Yeah.
Like, that is absolutely what happened in my eyes. It's just ridiculous to me, the whole thing. Good on CJ for telling the story, but yeah, it's absolutely absurd. Putin shows up at a WWE show in the corner of what, Rusev and Lana? Like, stop it. Knock it off. Like, that would have been that's what she's saying was the end game.
Yeah.
Like, what she's saying the end game is Putin is there in support of two non-Russians playing Russians. That's the most.
That's ridiculous.
Like, that doesn't I'm confused.
Yeah.
There.
Why?
It's
And
like,
why would you want to? Why would you want to put that stigma on a talent? Like, you don't, like, as someone, why would you
it's done before.
want a wrestler to be associated that he is an absolutely crazy person, bro? And it, like
Yes,
you
he
mentioned,
is.
it's Vince is one of the like wildest people you can talk about in regards to pro wrestling, because you can't talk about pro wrestling without him. But a lot of his ideas are so bonkers. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he was good at was getting the business into a place where, you know, they're running tours, like a concert series nearly, basically, and there's a big roster. Storytelling wise, let's not act like Vince was like a freaking genius. Like, I think we need to stop that.
There's so many stories of storylines back in the day of just like, you scratch your head.
I mean, Yeah, like ask us about all the doinks.
Yeah.
That was
Doinks.
great.
Triple H Booker T.
Talk about the times he's ripped up, had shows lined up and then completely ripped it up and threw
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
some. It is crazy, man. It is crazy. But let's not talk about the news, guys, because we need to play a game, in the words of what's his name, Jigsaw, because I'm excited for this. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I get to host it. We are going to give y'all our Mount Rushmore of wrestlers under 30. How this goes, this is a snake draft. It'll be me, it'll be Clark, it'll be Dez. Dez comes back, vice versa. This is going to be a special one because we are here to give you. This is the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers currently under 30 years old. And I am going to start it off with the number 1 pick. I am going to select Rhea Ripley. Mommy is always on top, and she's going to be on top of this list. Give me Rhea Ripley. Clark Taylor, you are on the clock.
That's a great pick. I am going to take, I guess, her ex, Dirty Dom Mysterio, with my first pick on my Mount Rushmore of wrestlers under 30.
Okay. Dirty Dominic Mysterio is the pick. Dez, who are you going with?
Solid pick, boys. I'm going to take it to the other company because he's better than you, and you know it. I'm going to take MJF.
All right. He's going with MJF. You are back on the clock, snake draft order.
All right. I'm going to go with, it's my best dog impression, Braun Breaker. The dog's out.
Okay.
Ooh.
Braun Breaker. All right. Clark, you're on the clock. Who you take with your second pick?
This is a wild move, but I'm going to go with the proto star, Kyle Fletcher, with my second pick. I'm excited about that one. I mean, he did just lose, but I don't care. It's the right time. It's the right pick, Shad.
That is an incredible
pick. Yeah.
Man, I was hoping he wasn't going to take him. I was thinking he was going to fall to me, but I'm surprised that you didn't take this guy, because with my next pick, I can only take the ruler. Daddy is home. I am taking Oba Femi every day of the week. Let me get Oba on my list. That is number 2. Number 3, we can't do this without the guy we were talking about. First topic, that boy is bouncy. Let me get Javon Evans.
Oh, that is
Good
a
pick.
nasty good pick, because that's where I was going to go next if you didn't take it.
Me too. Yeah.
You on the clock, Mr. Taylor.
I'm going to stay in NXT, though. I'm taking Sol Ruka. Of late, not been booked to her full potential, still ready to rock and roll, still one of my favorites. We need to book her as the NorCal star that she is, not the SoCal star they want to make her over on NXT. And if you're from California, you know what I'm talking about. But Sol Ruka is somehow criminally underrated to this day. One of the best athletes in the business. I'm going with Sol.
All righty, Sol Ruka. That is an amazing pick. I can't lie. Dez, who you got?
I kid you not, this exact order is how I have my list. Literally in the same exact order. So we just went in order. My name went bang, 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 bang. It's fine. I'm going to go with a sleeper pick. I'm going to go Leon Slater.
Ooh, wow.
Throw a wrench in there.
Bro, keep picking Leon Slater.
Yes, sir. I'm a big fan of him. He's a stud.
Shout out our friends over at Progress. No doubt about it, man. We've been covering him for a long time now. Leon Slater is a special, special talent.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
That was a good pick. You are back on the clock, sir. You
All
get
right.
to make a pick. Your last pick. Who are you taking?
All right, last pick. I'm going to take it with Blake Monroe, the artist formerly known as Mariah May.
Ooh,
That song's a bop. I'm not going to lie. That song's kind of fire. The Blake Monroe song. Blake Monroe.
Who?
You know?
Who's that?
Mike Jones.
You know?
You mean Mariah May?
Mariah May, yeah. The next NXT Women's Champion in the next
She used
year.
to be good.
She is still good, bro.
Hey.
Crazy.
Let's be nice. Clark Taylor, you are back on the clock.
Oh, I could not wait to take this pick because I am from Southern California. And if you know zip codes, you know where the 90210 is. Give me Jack Perry for my final pick.
Okay.
Under 30. Give me Jungle Jack Perry, the son of Luke Perry. Absolutely underrated and criminally underrated. Unfortunately, overshadowed by an old guy who took his ball and went home multiple times. Real glass, Jack Perry.
All right, man. With the last pick, I'm not going to take this person, by the way, because I could. Y'all want me to pick Tatum Paxley, I know. But I can't let this person not be picked because this woman, maybe next to Mercedes Moné, has been the best women's wrestler in the entire world. Preface the world. And she is also the World of Stardom Women's Champion. And she is also the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong's Women's Champion. The aura of this woman. Saya Kamatani is my last pick. I cannot allow her to go undrafted. The year that she has, let me get Saya. That is my pick. And I thought that was a pretty good go around, guys. I think,
dude,
that was good.
There were so many left unturned, though. Like, I can't believe I left the Hulkster out there.
Let's go through some comments real quick because DC Warlord is here and he made a list. He got Leon, who you took Mascara Dorada.
It's a good pick.
Woo, that boy is wrestling tonight against John Moxley. He is a hooper. He is an incredible wrestler. He's also taking Space Jesus herself, Billy Starks. I love Billy Starks. She's remarkable. I want her more on my television. And then the real deal Zeta Steel, DMV's own. I like that. We also got Mary in the house. She says the moment Clark said 90210.
Yeah.
She also said Mariah May. She refuses to call Blake Monroe.
Yeah, no, I don't know who that is.
I mean, there is a look, man. This is not an easy thing. We got Roxanne Perez, who went on draft.
Yeah, Lyra.
Roxanne Perez, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra. We're talking about who else, man? Vikingo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Kevin
man.
Knight.
I mean, dude.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. Tiffy time. She missed the cup for me.
Dude, think about this too. Gabe Kidd.
Yes, sir. He's on a list.
Gabe Kidd's on that list. You've got,
Jordan Grace.
Megan Bain was gonna be one of the ones I had. She was on the board.
SLK, Starlight Kid. There's a lot of people, man. Sir. But like, I feel like nobody can have bad Mount Rushmore at all.
Dude, Atlantis Jr. is 27 in CMLL. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Atlantis Jr. in CMLL.
Yeah, he's young. Oh, one of my favorites, Kevin Knight.
Kevin Knight.
Yeah, bro. He was on the list, bro. I was gonna pick him. I should have gone with him and Leon.
Kalani Gordon, bro.
Yes, sir.
Lonnie. Who had a
list
great
is
showing
crazy.
last night.
You also got
two Mount Rushmores.
You could. You got Kaito as well.
I keep wondering why we keep getting handed these topics like the future isn't bright, and then we look at a list like this when we do a Mount Rushmore, and we left 26 names plus on the floor that are worthy of being picked, and we're worried about what the future of wrestling looks like as far as main eventers and whatnot. I'm wondering if there's what is it?
It's so bright.
Too many fish in the sea.
You gotta wear shades for how bright it is.
Oh my goodness, guys! I did not see that.
Macho Man to the cream rises to the top, right? So it's gonna come up, man. You got to be patient. Patience is a virtue. This was a dope episode. I'm excited. We got Brittany Brooks, who's very talented. Also, he mentioned there's a lot of great people in the independent circuit for sure. People that we interviewed, like, you know what I'm saying, like real talented wrestlers that we've interviewed that are potentially, you can make on the list. top one, Mr. Amazing. That boy only 23 years old. I'm just saying, top
know.
one. Salute
He's on
to
the
bro.
rise.
Is it just me or does Des now look like an FBI agent?
FBI
Yeah.
agent.
He
Yeah,
looks like
probably,
a
bro.
NFA.
It's like good. Des is like, all right, guys.
I'm ready,
Yeah.
bro. I'm
My
locked in for
jurisdiction.
tomorrow.
But that is all the time we have today. I want to say happy early Thanksgiving to all of y'all in the comments, all of y'all that watched today. We are back tomorrow. Earlier start time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's
Mr.
1
I think you're on the show, right, Des?
I am. I'll be representing America tomorrow.
Yes,
will.
Des is gonna be doing the podcast before his team plays tomorrow. Me and Clark taking the day off, I think, right? Are you going to tomorrow?
Yeah, no, I'm not on tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll let Des and the UK guys handle it tomorrow. Y'all have a good one, man. Make sure to check us out tomorrow, and we will be back. Y'all take care. Peace.